Sedona doesn't look like Earth. It looks like Mars with better Wi-Fi and yoga studios. The entire town is framed by massive red rock formations that glow fiery orange at sunrise and deep crimson at sunset, making every evening feel like nature itself is performing a light show just for you. Imagine sitting on a patio, glass of local wine in hand, as the rocks change color like a slow-motion lava lamp. It's surreal, it's cinematic, and it's why retirees flock here in droves. But it's not just about the views. Sedona is also known as one of America's spiritual capitals. Crystal shops, vortex tours, and meditation retreats are everywhere. You can't walk 2 blocks without someone trying to realign your energy. For some retirees, that's a dream come true. For others, it's more like living inside a never-ending hippie convention. Either way, it gives the town a quirky charm that you won't find in your average retirement spot. Now let's talk numbers. Sedona's median home price sits around $800,000, which is more than double the US average. That's the catch. You pay for the beauty. On the plus side, crime rates are well below the national average, and the town enjoys more than 280 sunny days a year. Winters are mild compared to northern states, and summers, while hot, are drier than Florida's swampy humidity. The trade-off? You get jaw-dropping landscapes, endless sunshine, and a built-in wellness community. But you also pay premium prices, deal with constant tourists, and might get cornered by a stranger who insists the rocks are talking to them. If that doesn't scare you off, Sedona might just be your desert paradise. And if you think Sedona is wild, wait until you hear about town number 2. It looks like a movie set that forgot to stop filming. Beaufort looks like it was designed by a movie director who got carried away with Southern charm. In fact, Hollywood agrees. This little coastal town has been the backdrop for classics like Forrest Gump and The Big Chill. Because its streets look so unreal, you almost expect credits to start rolling when you walk through them. Picture oak trees draped in Spanish moss, white columned homes that look straight out of a postcard, and the gentle sound of waves lapping against the marshes. Retiring here feels less like moving to a town and more like stepping into a living, breathing film set. The best part? Unlike Charleston, which is just over an hour away and packed with tourists and skyrocketing prices, Beaufort has managed to keep its slower pace and lower cost of living. The median home price hovers around $400,000, nearly half of Charleston's current average. Crime rates are below the state average, and the town has a cozy population of around 13,000. Big enough to have a community, small enough that you'll probably run into the same folks at the farmer's market every Saturday. But don't mistake quiet for boring. Beaufort is a hub of festivals, art galleries, and waterfront dining where fresh shrimp and oysters are practically on tap. And when you're not eating seafood or watching pelicans dive into the water, you can take a short drive to the nearby beaches, which, unlike Myrtle Beach, aren't overrun by spring breakers with Bluetooth speakers. Now, the trade-off. Summers here are brutally humid. We're talking step outside and feel like you're swimming through soup humid. Mosquitoes treat newcomers like an all-you-can-eat buffet, and hurricanes are a seasonal reality. Still, if you can handle the sticky summers, Beaufort offers one of the most picturesque retirements in America. And if you thought this town looked too perfect to be real, wait until number 3. It's a Bavarian village dropped in the middle of Washington state. At first glance, Leavenworth looks like you've accidentally taken a wrong turn and ended up in Germany. But nope, you're still in Washington state. This tiny mountain town was literally redesigned in the 1960s to look like a Bavarian village, complete with timbered buildings, beer gardens, and year-round festivals that make you feel like Oktoberfest never ended. Picture yourself sipping a cold stein of German beer while accordion music plays in the background, surrounded by snow-capped peaks straight out of The Sound of Music. Retiring here is basically like living inside a themed amusement park, but with better hiking trails. Now here's the kicker. Despite looking like a tourist trap, Leavenworth actually has a thriving community of full-time residents, many of them retirees who came for the charm and stayed for the lifestyle. Housing is surprisingly more affordable than in nearby Seattle, where the median home price sits around $900,000. In Leavenworth, homes hover closer to $600,000 to $650,000. Not exactly pocket change, but considering you get a literal alpine village experience for that price, it feels like a bargain compared to city life. Of course, the tourist crowd is both a blessing and a curse. On the one hand, the constant festivals, everything from Christmas tree lightings to yodeling competitions, keep the town lively year-round. On the other hand, if you retire here, be prepared to share your grocery store with busloads of camera-wielding visitors who think they've just discovered a hidden European gem. The trade-off is clear. You get mountain air, storybook scenery, and a community that feels like a fairy tale. But you also give up convenience. It's a remote town, so don't expect a quick drive to Costco or a 5-minute Uber ride. Still, if you've ever dreamed of retiring to Europe, but don't want the hassle of passports and exchange rates, Leavenworth is as close as you can get without leaving America. And if you think living in a Bavarian village sounds strange, wait until you hear about number 4, a cherry-filled paradise on the edge of Lake Michigan. Traverse City is proof that paradise doesn't always come with palm trees. Known as the cherry capital of the world, this lakeside town feels like it was designed specifically for retirees who want small-town charm with just enough buzz to keep things interesting. Picture yourself on a summer afternoon, sitting at a cafe overlooking Lake Michigan, with a slice of cherry pie so fresh, it tastes like it was picked from your backyard. The water stretches out like an ocean, blue, endless, and perfect for swimming, boating, or just letting the waves lull you into retirement bliss. But Traverse City isn't just about cherries, even though they take their annual cherry festival very seriously. The town has a surprisingly vibrant food and wine scene, thanks to the nearby vineyards that produce award-winning bottles. Retirees often spend their weekends touring wineries, walking along the lakeshore, or browsing art galleries that feel more like hidden gems than tourist traps. It's the kind of place where you can balance peaceful mornings with lively evenings, all without ever needing to leave town. Now for the practical side, the median home price sits around $400,000, making it far cheaper than most coastal retirement towns. Crime rates are well below the national average, and the population of roughly 15,000 strikes that perfect balance between community and privacy. Summers are glorious, warm, breezy, and made for lakeside living. But then comes the trade-off: winter. And not just any winter, brutal, snow-heavy, shovel-till-your-back hurts kind of winter. Retirees here quickly learn the value of a good snowblower and an even better set of boots. Still, for those who can handle the cold, Traverse City offers one of the most rewarding retirements in the country. You get beaches that rival the coasts, food and wine that feel world-class, and a community that's equal parts cozy and lively. And if you think living in a cherry-filled town sounds quirky, wait until you hear about number 5, a desert hideaway where artists and retirees fight over the same mountain view. Taos isn't just a town, it's a mood. Nestled in the high desert of northern New Mexico, this is the kind of place where adobe houses glow orange under the sunset, snow-capped peaks tower in the distance, and every corner seems to be filled with art, music, or someone selling handmade turquoise jewelry. Retiring here feels like stepping into a painting, literally, because Taos has been an artist's haven for over a century. Georgia O'Keeffe found inspiration here, and today the galleries still buzz with that same creative energy. But Taos isn't just for painters and sculptors. It's also a haven for retirees who want something different from the typical golf course Florida lifestyle. Imagine waking up in a cozy adobe home, sipping coffee while looking out at the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, and deciding whether your day will be filled with hiking, exploring Pueblo history, or attending a local drum circle that lasts well past sunset. It's weird, it's wonderful, and it's absolutely not boring. On the number side, Taos is far more affordable than most scenic retirement towns. The median home price is around $400,000, a steal compared to Sedona or Aspen. Property values have been steadily climbing, so many retirees see it as both a lifestyle choice and an investment. The weather is dry, sunny most of the year, and far cooler than the stereotypical desert heat thanks to its higher elevation. Of course, the trade-off is real. Healthcare access is limited. There's a small local hospital, but for anything major, you're looking at a long drive to Santa Fe or Albuquerque. The quirky, artsy vibe isn't for everyone either. Some retirees thrive on the alternative culture, while others get tired of constant conversations about UFO sightings and spiritual energy fields. But if you're looking for retirement with personality, Taos is where art, history, and desert beauty collide. And if you thought Taos was unusual, just wait for number 6, a city so old it feels like Spain, but with palm trees and alligators. St. Augustine is the kind of place where history and sunshine collide in the most unexpected way. Founded in 1565, It's the oldest continuously inhabited city in the US, which basically means it was a retirement destination before America even existed. Walking through town feels like stepping into a European postcard. Cobblestone streets, centuries-old Spanish forts, and little cafes tucked into alleyways where palm trees lean in like nosy neighbors. Retiring here doesn't just feel like Florida. It feels like Spain decided to set up camp on the Atlantic coast. But here's the twist. Unlike Miami or Orlando, St. Augustine still holds on to its small-town charm. The median home price is around $380,000, making it cheaper than most other coastal Florida towns. On top of that, retirees get the state's legendary perks: no state income tax, lower property taxes, and plenty of communities designed specifically with seniors in mind. Add in more than 220 sunny days a year, and suddenly it starts to look like paradise wrapped in Spanish architecture. Of course, there's plenty to do besides staring at the fort and pretending you're a conquistador. St. Augustine has beaches, golf courses, art festivals, and enough seafood shacks to keep you busy for a decade. Retirees love the balance. It's historic and cultural, but also laid back and beachy. You can spend one morning learning about pirates and the next afternoon kayaking with dolphins. The trade-off? Tourists, lots of them. In the peak season, it feels like half the state of Florida shows up to snap selfies with the Castillo de San Marcos. Traffic gets messy, restaurants fill up fast, and quiet walks can feel like Disneyland crowds. Oh, and yes, alligators do exist nearby because Florida never lets you forget it's Florida. Still, for retirees who want history, sunshine, and tax breaks all in one place, St. Augustine checks every box. And if you thought this was impressive, wait until number 7, a mountain town so pricey it attracts billionaires, yet retirees keep sneaking in. Aspen has a reputation that's larger than life. Say the name, and people instantly picture billionaires sipping champagne in ski lodges, celebrities gliding down snowy slopes, and private jets parked like Ubers at the local airport. But here's the surprising truth. Aspen isn't just for the ultra-rich. There's a whole retiree community tucked behind the glossy headlines. People who came for the mountains and stayed because they discovered Aspen offers something money can't really buy. Peace in a place that feels like a year-round postcard. Imagine waking up with crisp alpine air filtering through your windows, the Rockies stretching out in every direction, and trails that change with the seasons. Winters bring skiing, snowshoeing, and hot chocolate by the fire. Summers transform Aspen into a green paradise with hiking, festivals, and outdoor concerts that make it feel more like a cultural hub than just a ski town. For retirees who love the outdoors, Aspen is like hitting the jackpot. Now let's talk reality. The median home price sits at a jaw-dropping $3 million, which makes Aspen one of the most expensive retirement towns in America. But here's the catch. Many retirees rent, downsize, or find nearby communities that cost a fraction of that while still enjoying Aspen's lifestyle perks. Healthcare is excellent for such a small town. Crime is nearly non-existent. And despite its glamorous reputation, locals insist it still feels like a community once you get past the luxury storefronts. The trade-off? Cost, plain and simple. Groceries are more expensive, housing is outrageous, and if you want to dine out, even a casual meal might feel like it should come with a payment plan. But retirees who can afford it, or who are clever enough to find a workaround, swear that nothing compares to the quality of life Aspen delivers. And if you think Aspen is picture perfect, wait until number 8, a town so charming it looks photoshopped, with lobsters and lighthouses around every corner. Bar Harbor is the kind of town that makes you wonder if someone secretly added a Photoshop filter to real life. Perched on Mount Desert Island, it's the gateway to Acadia National Park, which means retirees here wake up to views of granite cliffs, pine forests, and the Atlantic crashing against rocky shores. Picture yourself sitting on a porch with a steaming cup of coffee as fog rolls in over the harbor, only to burn off a few hours later into a crystal clear sky. It's equal parts rugged and serene, like nature's version of a spa day. But Bar Harbor isn't just about scenery, it's a food lover's dream, especially if your idea of a perfect retirement includes eating lobster rolls until you can't look at butter anymore. The town thrives on seafood, cozy restaurants, and small shops that give it an old-world charm. Retirees here often spend their days strolling through the quaint downtown, biking through Acadia's carriage roads, or taking boat rides where seals, puffins, and the occasional whale make surprise appearances. It's a retirement lifestyle that blends relaxation with adventure. On the numbers side, Bar Harbor is far more affordable than major East Coast cities. The median home price hovers around $500,000, significantly less than Boston's $800,000 plus average. Crime rates are low, healthcare access is solid for a small community, and the pace of life is exactly what many retirees crave: calm, cozy, and connected to nature. The trade-off? Winters. Maine doesn't play around when it comes to snow and cold, and Bar Harbor is no exception. Many retirees here become snowbirds, heading south for the worst months and returning when the weather warms. Tourist season can also overwhelm the tiny town, but locals often joke that it's a fair price to pay for living in a postcard. And if Bar Harbor feels like a dream, just wait until number 9. A seaside fairy tale town in California where even the dogs live in cottages. Carmel by the Sea doesn't just sound like a fairy tale. It looks like one too. Tucked along California's rugged central coast, this seaside town is filled with whimsical cottages that look like they were pulled straight from a storybook. Walking through Carmel feels surreal. Cobblestone paths, ivy-covered shops, and beaches that stretch out into the Pacific with waves so dramatic they practically audition for a movie. Retiring here means waking up every day in a place where the line between fantasy and reality is constantly blurred. But Carmel isn't just pretty, it's cultured. This tiny town is bursting with art galleries, boutique theaters, and a legendary food scene that rivals much bigger cities. Pebble Beach is right next door, offering some of the most famous golf courses in the world. And here's a quirky fact: there are no chain restaurants, no street addresses, and many shops close by 6 p.m., which means Carmel is charmingly old-fashioned in ways that both amuse and confuse newcomers. Need directions? Locals give them by landmark, not numbers. Now here's the reality check. Carmel is breathtaking, but it's also breathtakingly expensive. The median home price is around $2 million, which makes even basic cottages feel like luxury mansions. Retirees who settle here either sold property elsewhere for a fortune or simply decided that living in a fairy tale is worth the price tag. On the plus side, crime rates are low, the climate is mild year-round, and the town is incredibly pet-friendly. In fact, Carmel is famous for treating dogs like royalty, complete with water bowls outside shops, dog menus at restaurants, and hotels that offer more perks for pets than people. The trade-off? Cost and crowds. Tourists flood the streets in the summer, and unless you're comfortable spending like a celebrity, Carmel can be tough to manage on a fixed income. Still, for retirees who can swing it, life here feels like stepping into a painting that never ends. And if you think Carmel is magical, just wait until town number 10, a Victorian mountain hideaway in Arkansas that looks like it's been frozen in time. Eureka Springs feels less like a retirement town and more like a time capsule that someone forgot to open. Nestled in the Ozark Mountains, this Victorian-era village winds through steep hills and narrow streets lined with colorful 19th century homes. Walking downtown feels like stepping into a novel. Stone staircases that lead to hidden gardens, quirky antique shops, and historic hotels that locals swear are haunted. Retiring here means your daily stroll looks like a guided tour of living history, minus the admission fee. But the charm of Eureka Springs isn't just in its architecture. The town is known for its natural springs, which once drew health seekers from all over the country. Today, they add a serene backdrop to a community that thrives on art, music, and festivals. Retirees here often find themselves swept into a calendar packed with events, from jazz weekends to quirky parades, where costumes are basically mandatory. The town leans into its eccentricity, and that's exactly why so many people fall in love with it. On the numbers side, Eureka Springs is one of the most affordable places on this list. The median home price is around $300,000, far below the national average for scenic retirement towns. Cost of living is low, crime rates are modest, and the tight-knit population of just over 2,000 means you'll know your neighbors and their neighbors pretty quickly. For retirees craving affordability without giving up beauty, it's a rare gem. The trade-off? The town's steep, hilly streets can be tough for anyone with mobility issues, and medical care is limited. Larger hospitals require a drive, and the winding mountain roads aren't exactly beginner-friendly. But if you can handle the terrain, Eureka Springs offers something most retirement towns don't: an eccentric, affordable, storybook life where every corner looks like it belongs in a postcard. And here's the kicker. As magical as Eureka Springs feels, there are even stranger and cheaper retirement towns hidden across America that almost nobody talks about. But that's a story for another time. And there you have it, 10 of the most beautiful towns in America, where retirement doesn't just mean slowing down, it means waking up every day to a view worth celebrating. From the red rocks of Sedona to the Victorian streets of Eureka Springs, each of these places proves that retirement can be about more than comfort. It can be about beauty, community, and living in a place that feels like it was designed just for you. Whether you dream of sipping wine by the lake, walking cobblestone streets, or waking up to mountain air, there's a town on this list that can make that dream a reality. Retirement isn't the end of the story, it's the beginning of a new chapter, and choosing the right setting makes all the difference. Which of these towns would you actually move to? Drop your pick in the comments. I'd love to see which one wins. And if you enjoyed this journey, hit that like button so more people can discover these hidden gems too.